Thank you very much, Sanjay. Thank you for coming over. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you in our inner circle session. So, folks, let me give you a quick introduction. Sanjay is a very dear friend of mine. He stays close to my place in Pune. We are running buddies, so we run together a lot of time. And in fact, this session itself, the invitation to this session was scheduled over a run. So we just met on the road, and then I asked him to come over. So Sanjay is a runner for me first, and as I said, he's also my financial advisor. He's been doing this for a long time, I think 10, 12 years, and he is not a out and out financial person because he was in the IT industry. He was staying overseas. He was in the United States for many years, and then he decided to do a career transition and became a financial advisor. And what I can vouch for is that whoever I know has been his client has amazing things to say about him. Sanjay is a wonderful person, amazing sense of humor, very energetic. He is the life of any group that he gets into. It is amazing interacting with Sanjay. Thank you so much, Sanjay. Thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you,
And
Sudhi.
would you like to just add something? Meaning, I just gave a very.
I feel like you should only keep talking about me. You've been saying such good things. So, but thanks a lot, guys. I see a lot of welcome in the chat. So thanks a lot. Love being here. So I'll try to keep it short. Again, as Sudhi said, we moved from the US. I've been in the IT profession for the past 16 years, like before moving from the US. And once coming here, I was sure I wanted to do something on my own. And it took me a few years, like 3 to 4 years, to figure out my true calling, right? In the US, I got into the real estate business also. And I kind of got into the niche of helping people out, making a difference in their lives. And here I found out that investing is the right avenue to do that. Because people didn't have the right direction. The banks are out to skin you alive. And you need somebody who they can trust. So that's how I got into this. I did a course in certified financial planning, and that actually helped me give the proper path to my clients, like a proper return on investment. And I've been doing this officially since 2016, but I've been investing for the past 25 years in the markets. So
Wonderful. That's good to know. And so, can you start off by telling us what are the different options that any individual has as far as investing in or handling personal finance is concerned?
Right. So I would always suggest first comes protection, right? Even before you think about investing, saving, anything, you need to have your bases covered. By protection, one is life insurance, so that your family is covered. You can never earn anything when you're in your prime earning age. You cannot foresee what will happen to your family if something happens to you. Where will you get so much money? So simplest form of insurance, a life insurance. A lot of people think, what, if I go, my family will figure it out. My in-laws are rich. My parents are rich. Something like that, right? So that, but with medical insurance, you have to beg, borrow, steal and get yourself or your family fixed. So these are the minimal forms of protection when we talk about personal finance.
So you're saying life insurance and medical insurance.
Medical insurance. And then accidental also, personal accidental policy also helps. Disability helps. So anything that kind of will give a big break to your earning cycle.
Okay.
And then we move on to the different forms of investments. You have investments in stock market, mutual funds, rental income from real estate, bonds, dividend from the shares that you own. Yes, Ganesh, I've been referring to term insurance. That is the most simplest form of insurance. You die, your family gets money, nothing happens to you. It's all happy ending.
Yes.
So that kind of a thing. So basically what you want to do is try and have at least 6 different kinds of income from different sources. I think, so when we started this, I was all ready with my room, my office, where we have this conference, right? I was ready to go. Suddenly, I realized they have this Dhol Tasha practice going on. I don't know if you can hear the background. So it's impossible to sit there. So I have to room things never go as planned. Be it investing, be it life, you just have to do some kind of adjustments. And nothing better than COVID to teach us that, right? Like COVID kind of shook people. like people who thought they were extremely well settled, they're happy with their
plans are nice, but they never work. Yeah.
Exactly. So ideally, find out different forms of income where, if one stops, other will start getting that income like that.
Okay.
Right.
And we all do some kind of personal finance management, but what are the most common mistakes that people make, especially working professionals? See, in this community, we all are working professionals. So, what are the most common mistakes that you see your clientele making?
So before we get into that, I'm going to talk something about a mindset. Right? You want to take a quick 2-minute. And anybody who's listening to this, I want you to dwell into this and figure what category you come into. Right? The first is a poor mindset. Doesn't mean you don't have any money in your pocket. The poor mindset, what do they do is whenever they get a salary, they go and spend it. They'll buy the most expensive clothes. They'll buy the most expensive phone, the most expensive car, right? Outright. End of the month, they are again waiting for their salary to do this. So there's nothing wrong in it, but you just never get out of this cycle. The second is the middle class mindset, not class middle mindset, I can call it. They do bigger things. They buy EMIs. So it's like one EMI gets over, they think, what, hey, I've got extra money, let me buy another EMI. It can be a personal loan, it can be a new car, they finished one loan, they've started another loan. Same problem, your money is never making any money for you. You're just getting into one debt and another debt. The last is the rich mindset, which I think you explained how you've been into that, right? So you are a perfect example of that. You figure out how your money is going to make more money for you, creating assets. And when you spend, it is these assets that you use to spend. It can be any form. So you always need to think. So when you, any person has to think that, what am I doing? Am I just waiting for a salary and spending it? So the working professional or even a businessman, the most important thing is they always focus on making more money. But what do they do when they get this more money is more important. Does that money work for them? Is it multiplying at a higher grade?
Yes.
So not planning the financial future is the biggest mistake that anybody can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So poor mindset, middle mindset, or mindset of the middle class, and then the rich mindset. I think that is a very clear distinction.
It's just about 5-6 years before they retire, they start figuring out, I have a lot of people who are coming around 55, says, Sanjay, we are retiring in 5 years. How do we spend the next of the 25 years? Please help us. Right? So time can be your biggest friend or your biggest enemy, depending on how you deal with it.
Yeah, actually, that brings me to my next question. You eased into it, which is, retirement. See, working professionals at some point, we're all going to be retiring. So how do you plan for retirement from now itself? Not like, 5 years to go.
Right.
How does one do that?
So let me first explain to you retirement in terms of financial planning here. It has got nothing to do with age, basically. If you have enough wealth that can generate the money that you need to normally spend, you are ready to retire. Right? So I call it financial freedom, financial independence, right? The ability to say no to a lot of things without it affecting you financially. And how do you do it? You start by seeing what kind of a lifestyle you have, thinking of what kind of a lifestyle you want to lead once you retire, and then removing small chunks of money and making sure that it grows to that level. See, a lot of times what happens is we earn 6-7 figure salaries a year. We are used to that lifestyle. We love taking vacations. And you want to do that even when you retire. You don't want to live in an enclosed room, just living that lifestyle. But unfortunately, you don't end up investing that much money to get you that corpus. So that is the biggest. So retirement, to plan for retirement or to be financially have a financial freedom, you start right away. I have clients who are 25-year-olds who have that vision. Their vision is different. They don't want to retire. They want to be financially free. They don't want to work under a boss. They want to open a startup, but with enough funds with them. The thinking is changing dramatically.
Correct, yeah, I can relate to that. I did that 3 years ago. I quit my job and
you are in that sweet spot now. You are actually in that sweet spot. You are doing what you love to do.
Yes, absolutely. And, having said that, one is making plans, and we spoke about it, and about making financial plans. And this reminds me of an amazing quote by Mike Tyson, the legendary boxer. He once said that everybody has a plan until they are punched in the face. So,
Exactly.
so emergency punch in the face is emergency situations for people like us. So, how does one address this? You talked about insurance for medical situation and accident, but there could be other emergencies too. So how do we handle that emergency funds?
Right. So once a client came to me, right? He said, I want to make money. I want to get the highest returns. So simple a question I asked. So where is the money right now? So he said, I earn X amount, I can save amount. I want to put this entire amount into a long-term risky return. I said, no, of course. Then I'm not the right person. So first you need to figure out if anything happens, anything, you need money right away. It has to be in such a place which is not tied to the market. It can be your FD, it can be your bank account, it can be a liquid fund, where you are not coming back and telling me, Sanjay, you put this money here, it's like minus 10% right now. See, our goal is for long term is 5 year plus. Ideally, you should have at least 6 months of expenses in an emergency fund. It can be you lose your job, something has happened. So 6 months grace. If times are bad, I would even say go up to a year. Right? Whatever your family's earning is into 6 months, if things are going good, if it's a bad economy, tough economy, at least 1 year. And it should be in such a place which is easily removable, not in some kind of a lock-in place where you can't touch it for 10 years or something like that. Readily accessible. Right. So the advantage of this, I don't have a single client coming back to me saying that we need money and I'm not able to give them money, because our planning in the beginning itself, we figure out where is your short-term money, where is your emergency corpus. If it's not there, we first build that even before getting into investments.
Yes, yeah, makes absolute sense. So 6 months to 12 months is the backup that one should have, and it should be highly liquid. Liquid as in you should be able to withdraw it whenever you want to.
Don't worry about return. It can give you zero return also, but capital should be protected.
Easily accessible.
Yes,
absolutely. Yes. Very, very true, Sanjay. And this is something which I want each one of you to make a note of. 6 months to 12 months. 12 months is ideal. Minimum 6 months is the backup that we should be having. We're going to be taking questions in a little while, Rohit. I just got a list that I'll go through, and then I'll open it for questions from everyone. Okay. The next thing that I want to talk about is loans. You mentioned about how middle class mentality is to go for loans, one loan after the other, and be in on this treadmill of EMIs. But the question that I have is related to loans which are inevitable. So, for example, if you're buying a home, then you are going to take a loan in all likelihood. Right. So, when a person has loans, then there is also this calculation about tax savings. So the government encourages you to continue with your home loans. So I'm taking specifically home loan example. Then in that case, does it make sense to pay off the loan, or should one keep paying the EMI? What is the right thing to do?
Okay. So first, let me clear one thing out of this thing. Personal loans are the most expensive loans. So ideally, you should get rid of it as before even you think about investing, because your returns are much less than what you would pay on a personal loan. Now, coming to EMI, as a financial advisor, what I advise is you're getting a loan from a bank at 7 to 8%, right? For 20 years.
Home loan,
correct? So think of it as a leverage. Anytime you have more money, I would rather invest that into a long-term equity mutual fund or something like that, which gives me a 12 to 15% return. But because think about this, I'm getting a loan at 7%, but I'm investing it in something that gives me a 15%. So it's not a loan, it's a leverage, if I think of it that way. But being in this business so long, I need to check the temperament of the client also. So this is a very interesting scenario. I had a client who suddenly came in like 50 lakhs of cash. He had a huge EMI. So we did this elaborate plan. Hey, let us invest this 50 lakhs. If you need money to reduce your EMI, we can remove from this 50 lakhs. But same, at least the 30 lakhs will make 60, 90. That person also was very happy. So we were all gung-ho. We went in. A year goes by. Suddenly he sees this 30, 40 lakhs has become a bigger chunk. He says, you know what? I need to buy a car. And I'm going to buy an Audi. I'm not going to buy an ordinary car. I have money sitting in the bank. I can't say no. Buys that. Takes his family, this money, takes his family on a nice international trip. Within 3 years, this has become zero. So that discipline has to be there. What you were ready to pay your house and you're investing, you cannot touch that for the next 15, 20 years, other than rebalancing that. So it's with a pinch of salt. So if my job is to instill that discipline, but end of the day, it's their money. So if you have that discipline, I would say reinvest that money wisely for that time period. Otherwise, you're better off paying off your loan. It's better that it's gone into that rather than spending on material things. So,
and the assumption we are making here is that the home loan percentage is low.
Exactly.
You want to invest.
Exactly.
Okay, yes. Makes sense. And as far as investing is concerned, then there are various options. Putting money into stocks, then investing in residential properties or commercial real estate. So, what are your views? Where do you think our money should be going, and how much?
So, I would say, I'm a big mutual fund fan because what it does it clubs in a lot of companies together. Your risk is low. Your entry is very low. You can start investing with a 500 SIP to begin with, correct? Minimum 5,000 as a lump sum. The entry level is low. I like real estate only when you have enough corpus liquidity with you. If I got maybe 60, 70 lakhs sitting in any form of money, which is easily accessible, be it in the form of stocks, mutual funds and all, then I can think about investing in real estate. Because once you get into that real estate cycle, it becomes high. You are not able to do anything else. Right? Your EMI ends up being so huge that you are not able to invest anywhere. So by the end, what happens is you become house poor. You own a house, but you have no other money.
Correct. Yeah.
So the advantage of real estate is it gives you an asset. You can enjoy the rent out of it, be it commercial or be it residential, but it is highly illiquid.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. It's not easy to get out of.
Exactly. So that.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. And apart from, individual, okay, there is the family. So most of us, we have our families. So in some families, it is one person who is earning. In others, it could be both, the spouses. And in a case like mine, even the child is grown up. Okay, she's 20 years old. So how do you manage? How does one, stay in sync? What is the right way to handle finance within the family as a subject?
Right. So everything in all these cases, it mainly will depend on what your savings rate is. How much your family, be it double income, be it single income, be it three income, how much are you able to save as a family? No, say it's a young couple who have a 4 or 5 year old child. Both of them are working extra hours and all that. So they tend to spend much more on things like eating outside because of the lack of time. They end up giving a lot of things for the child because they cannot give time.
Buying expensive toys.
Right? So in that case, their savings is again very less. But whereas if there's a single person or again a couple where they diligently remove money, they invest money. So it depends on what your lifestyle is. I get in and I try to change that up to a certain extent, teaching them the difference between you're not only, so we are in from the health division also, right? So teaching them having food outside is not only bad for your health, it's bad for your finances also.
Absolutely.
So
I think very basic. Yes, that's very important.
Right. You end up having a lot of Zomatos and Swiggy. It doesn't do anything good for you both ways. So.
The first step is to uninstall those apps. Yeah. And, about the child. So what is the right age? So I just from our generation, people from our generation can relate to this. We had this small earthen pot in which we used to put our money. Okay, and then once it is filled on a special day, you break it, and then you have lots
Right,
of money,
right.
which you then get to spend in a certain way. But these days, with in the digital economy, or that is no longer relevant. Nevertheless, one would want to educate the child. So my two questions. One is, at what age do you start? And second is, how do you do it?
Right.
Educating children about finance and financial discipline.
So I think you can start at an age when they are ready to make choices, when they go into the store and pick up things to buy, like 4 years old, 5 year old. No, when my son was young, he used to pick up a Pringle box. I should see the price on that and see the price of Lay's chips. Right. So it starts from that point onwards, when you are able to tell them the value of money. Do you want to eat a pizza for 500 rupees or have a nice thali? So very slowly over there, not overbearing them, because they'll think that you are always giving them gyan about things and teaching them. So I had conducted a lot of seminars for children also, right? Where we, and not only children, I think even adults need to know that the difference between wants and needs. Right, that's a very important. So the nice thing, a lot of parents approach me and saying that our child is questioning us now. What are you buying? Is a want or a need? Can we do without it? Like a 60-inch TV screen, something like that. So instilling these values will go a long way. Even before they start earning money, they understand what are assets, what are liabilities, that kind of a thing. So it helps. And more than this, so this is the finance part of it. So teaching them that most things in life are free is very important. So with my son, we go on regular treks, enjoying the nature.
Yes.
So you are away from your phone. There is no phone. And COVID, unfortunately, has made it even mandatory for kids to have, leave alone us, even our servants' children have mobiles now, because that has became the norm during those times. So trying to teach them, so learning how to become bored is a big thing. I think I remember my childhood where I never had anything to do, just figuring out on the playing with mud was one of the pastimes. Children now don't have, they have to be constantly entertained.
Yeah.
So that is a big unlearning, leave them without their gadgets, make them understand value of money by small things that you can. Taking them out actually shows them how people live otherwise.
What I would like to do is, I do have a couple of more questions, but I'd like to open this to the community. So folks, please put in your questions, anything that you want, and let's run it past Sanjay. So Rohit has already put in a question. Sanjay, I'll read it out to you. So do you risk profile for your clients before advising them on their investments?
Definitely, 100%. Because when you sit and talk with them for some time, you realize where they are coming from. See, a lot of people will tell, what, I want maximum returns from my investments. But I dig down a little bit more. When you say maximum return, it means maximum risk also. Are you ready to lose that much? So when they say no, I said, no, you are not ready for maximum returns, because you're not ready for maximum loss also.
So do you have the appetite or the stomach for high risk, high
exactly
return?
One is the appetite, second is the capability. So all these go hand in hand.
Oh yeah.
If
Some
someone has
people
the
may not
appetite,
have the capability, but they'll be foolish enough to say yes.
Exactly. So understanding all that, so I need to know where all your money is lying, what all you're getting, what all your debts are. Then I'm able to profile you much better. Saying that this is what we need to do. Is there any standard format of percentage?
Sonia is asking, is there any standard format or percentage to diversify your investment? So which bucket do you put in how much money? So how do you decide the ratio?
So there is a very standard format of age that people use, saying if you're in 30, 70 can be high risk, which can be a part of equity, 30 can be debt, it can be your
so that is FD. So in your 30s, 70% of you
can be 30s to 40s, what they say.
Okay.
So, but these are all rough figures. So every individual varies accordingly. Correct. It's a person who's somebody like you. You need enough debt, but you're okay with equity. You know the risks. You know that 5 years down the line, my money will grow.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
it's very specific. So thumb rule is 30 to 40, 70 is into equity, 30 it is into debt. 40 to 50, you become a little more conservative, 60%, 40%. Then as you near your retirement, more should be in debt. But I know people who are in their 70s who have their entire in equity because their equity has matured to a certain extent. It's giving them a 15% return.
And the corpus is big enough.
Corpus is huge
to absorb
right?
any shocks.
So it's very individualistic, very family specific, depending on what your liabilities are, what your assets are.
Yeah. So the generic rule is that in the initial part of your career where the responsibilities are less, you can be more adventurous or take more risks. As you age, then you reduce your risk, and especially during your till your retirement, the risk should be very minimal. However, as you said, depending on your situation, there can always be exceptions. I mean, it could be different.
Correct.
Okay. So good one, Sanjay. And then Althea is asking, if you say that you should plan your investment, should that be about the children's education as well? Althea, if I got your question right. Yeah.
So I'll answer it. Let Althea, you can tell if that's what it is. So when we talk about investment, we have a lot of different baskets. We have retirement planning as just one goal, children's education as one goal, children's marriage as one goal. So these are all separate goals where we figure out, say, if you want to give your child a medical education as of today, the minimum cost is around 40 lakhs out here itself. So what will that become when they are 15 years of age, when they are about 20 years of age? So we do that inflation adjusted, and we get it's all a numbers game. So that will give you a very fair bit of idea how much you need to start investing as of today for that to reach that goal.
Okay.
So it becomes one part of your goal.
Okay. Yeah. So it is one of the goals. So it has to be there.
Correct.
Yeah. Tabisha asks, we've heard of different types of investment like real estate, fixed deposits, equity. Which are the other options? You mentioned there are 6. So apart from real estate,
there should be at least 6. There can be many more. But for example, if you have shares, then those dividends are a big can be a big income to you. The companies that give you dividends. Rental income is there. You have already mentioned that. Then there is something called as fractional real estate investing also, where a group of 100 people come and do some investment and you get a rent out of that.
Would REIT also be fractional?
What is that?
Real estate, REIT.
REITs. So even you can buy REITs very cheaply now by like shares of InvIT Grid. They also give you a regular income. So these are all, and business. If you're salaried, that becomes one kind of income. If you have business, multiple businesses, those are your different incomes that is there. But I would suggest the simplest is investing in either buying shares or buying mutual funds. That can be a very steady kind of income.
Yes. Yeah. On that one, I mean, you know all the details. I'm a huge mutual funds person.
Right.
So yeah, that's how it's been always.
Because your risk is divided, you don't get stress. I don't get stress, you know.
True. Yeah, and we don't fight. Yeah. Any other questions, anyone? Because Sanjay, you want to address the community, right? You want to take a few minutes to do that?
Yes, I'll take a few minutes.
Yeah, let's just check. We can continue with the questions later. So Sanjay, over to you.
Okay, so I think there was a question like, see, a lot of now people ask me. There is robo-advisor. There are a lot of things that you can do online, which is great. I mean, there are people who, I have friends who do that, but they have that interest, they have the time, and some of them have the temperament. But where my role comes in is more of behavioral science, you know, where when everybody is being greedy, I put a hold on people saying that, no, let's wait. When everybody's fearful is the time when I push people. This is the time to buy. Right. So Indians are very emotional in nature, most of us. And most of my clients are like, their day jobs takes 12 to 14 hours of their time. They don't have the time to do this. So there is enough business for all. People do a lot of online on their own, but some of them, when they come to me, I see they have a bundle of 40 mutual funds. Why? Because somebody told them that's how. So it works both ways. There is business for all. But if it's someone that you want to pick the phone up and give a good hearing or understand what's happening with their investment, a trusted advisor goes a long way in that way. So that's about a lot of questions people have about this, direct or through these robo advisors. Okay, there's a question: how percentage of earnings shall go into direct stocks, given that one is already investing having it into mutual funds, equity and debt? So any amount of money that you don't think you need for the next 5 to 10 years should go into stocks. Why I say that is because, see, stocks are very cyclical. It depends on what you're buying. If you're buying large caps, good companies with good pedigree, there is no problem. But even they fall down on their grace, like Yes Bank happened, right? So mutual funds can be your go-to money, right? Where you can dig into it anytime it's reached that stage. Stocks, you would put money that you will not feel bad if it really goes down, and you are able to put it there for a long time. It's very difficult to give a percentage without knowing where you're coming from, like what kind of a investment portfolio you already have. But anything that goes into stock, do not rely on that for the short term. Very simple.
So even if you lose the entire money, theoretically speaking, it shouldn't be impacting your life.
Exactly. So it can be a part of your retirement corpus, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. You can continue.
Okay. And so some of the things, so these are all good things about investing, like why we should invest, how we should invest, and all those kind of things, right? Now, the hardest part of financial skill is getting the goalpost from stock moving, right? Increasing ambition faster than satisfaction. So some people are on the other words, like, at what point it makes you happy. So I have taken the leap from IT. Sudhi has taken the leap from IT. So we have reached a stage where we have decided that, we want to pursue a fact. We don't want to keep earning. There is no end to that. That is one part of it. Second is social comparison. You always want to earn more than the other person, right? But there is no end to it. You reach
own a bigger car. Own a bigger car than your
own a bigger car. There is always going to be someone who's going to be earning more than you. To accept that you have enough, even then what it is less than around you, it's a state of mind. If you see somebody getting down from a BMW, do you feel envious about it, or you feel you're not judgmental? That's your state of mind that you have to reach to achieve financial freedom also, knowing that what you have is enough. Okay. How many mutual funds? And the same for stock numbers, 4 to 5 mutual funds, how frequently you churn. So mutual funds, ideally 4 to 5 is good enough, but you want to play separate sectoral segments, then maybe more, but I wouldn't suggest more than 7 ideally. 7 is the most that can, so you can cover a mid cap, you can cover a small cap, banking as a sector, pharma as a sector. Beyond that, you don't need to have multiple large caps. You don't need to have multiple flexi caps, basically.
And this is even if you have a large corpus or large portfolio.
Yes. Because they are redundant. Taking 2 large caps is pretty much redundant.
Okay. And Tavisha is asking, do you advise investment in gold? And how are the returns as far as gold investment?
Gold is just a hedge as per me. So I would not suggest.
Hedge matlab
when the balance. So wo bhi cryptocurrency change that also. Ideally, when stocks go down, gold comes up, but that didn't really happen. So gold is a hedge. If at all you want to invest in gold, maybe about 5 to 10%. Sovereign is the best way to invest rather than physical gold. Right now, you have a lot of options. You have gold funds, you have gold ETFs, and you have sovereign gold bond.
Okay.
Sovereign gold bond is very good. It's got an 8-year lock-in, but it becomes tax-free after that. You get additional 2.5% interest over and above the gold price.
And why do you say investing in physical gold is not a good idea?
Physical gold, you have the risk. You have to save it somewhere. You have to keep it somewhere. right? Then the process of selling it also goes. So you don't need to have physical gold. You're better off. It's the same thing. So why take risk? Nobody's going to steal a piece of paper from you, but stealing gold is more easy that way.
And then you will have to find a bank locker, and
you have to find a bank locker, all that clean stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a question Ganesh also asked, how frequently you need to churn the scheme, and 10 to 15 for stocks. So stocks, that's the thing, it's very cyclical. Knowing when to get out, what will happen after you get out, there is no such fixed rule. So if you think that the cycle is going to change for the auto industries, then you come out of that cycle. But it can be a good guesswork. It can be a good, it depends on your conviction, how strong you are on your conviction. That's why I will not advise stocks for the regular investor, other than the blue chips. Other than the blue chips that are there.
Blue chips are the top performing companies.
Top performing, your HDFCs, SBI, ITCs of the
Infosys,
TCS, those companies.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else, Sanjay, before I go to my questions?
You can start. I'll jump in the middle.
Yeah. So, see, the people in our community, we are all from different cities. Now, I stay close to your place, and you have been taking care of my finances, advising me on my finances. Do you also do financial advising for people who are not in Pune or not accessible physically? How do you do that, and how does it work?
See, the best part of financial advisor is it has no boundaries. I have a lot of clients in the US. I have a lot of clients in the UK, some in Dubai. Even in India, I have a lot in Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai. So COVID in a way has taught that you don't really need to be in front. But then I travel also a lot if somebody wants to come and meet me. Otherwise, pretty much everything is through Zoom, through phone calls, online, everything can be done. In fact, I have a lot of US clients who plan it for their family back here.
Okay.
Right. So they are there, they cannot come more often here. How can their family get income, or how their family can invest? Because I have a strong tie with the US because we've been there almost 10 years. So they trust me. So everything is about trust. Trust and the level of comfort that you have is much more. So first is likability. Once they like you, then everything falls in place. So that's all.
And before I should have asked this before, is a financial advisor even necessary, or can you just do things on your own?
If you have the knowledge, then yes, right? If you have the time, more than knowledge, the time, right? Because even when I used to do that, once you have that, okay, let me do that, you do that. But then life takes over. Your family takes over, your job takes over. You don't have time to take a look at the investments. So I have a lot of clients who are very knowledgeable, but then they want me to handle it so that when they are not watching, I am watching.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right, like that. Yeah. And it doesn't cost them any much. I don't charge them. So I work only with referrals when that trust is already developed. So I don't need to start from scratch. Right. So we just go on implementing stuff.
So there's a question from Ganesh, which is in line with what we've been speaking. So that your charges, are those fixed or based on percentage of?
So I work, So for me, this is my second innings. This is like my passion. So I work with only people. So the only thing that I require is a burning desire for wealth creation. Right? Like in fitness, when I got into fitness, now I coach people for marathon running. So does Sudhi. But what I realize is you cannot keep pushing gyan on people.
Yes.
It has to, tumhara andar ka kutta jagna chahiye. Like they say, unless you have that desire to become fit, nothing in the world will make you fit. What we do is we provide direction. Same thing with financing also. I can provide you the direction. I can help you on that. But that motivation has to come within you first. That way.
True. And final question from me is, how do you get your customers? For me, it was easy to come to you, but generally, how do you get your customers?
So I have a very strong network base in Pune because of running. So I have that credibility where, see, running is something that once people know you, they trust you. They are in there at 6 o'clock in the morning with you running in different weather. So that has kind of catapulted me into that, where that has become my strongest referral source. And then that's how my business, that's how I've been getting clients, only through referrals.
Okay, through reference.
And
So
my
known
US
to
base
you.
has been very strong. So from there also I get a lot of clients.
Okay. Ganesh says question related to charges has not been answered. Yeah. Can you just elaborate on that? Again?
So I don't charge. Is that if that's what you're asking? I don't charge clients for investing on their behalf, but I implement it for them. I'm more like in a technical term, like a distributor, not like an advisory. But of course, in India, it just doesn't go
So
with
you
just.
don't charge the client.
I don't charge the client.
You would be making your money from the fund.
Fund house. Exactly.
From the fund house.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So Sonia says, I think before Sonia, there was a question from Murugesh.
So financial advisor, see, if you're a RIAs, they are called. They are called.
Sorry, Sanjay, which question are you answering? Sonia's question.
Sonia
I
has
heard
asked
recently.
me. Yeah. I heard recently. So financial advisor. So there are two parts of it. One is a advisor. Other is a distributor. Right. If you are an advisor, not a financial advisor, RIA, they call it registered advisors. They can only advise you and charge you for that, but they can't implement it for you. But that has got so much technicalities. A lot of people prefer to stay distributors and still advise.
Okay. So right? You are both India, advisor as well as distributor.
So India, it never works. India, I cannot say that, you know what, I'm not going to advise you. I'm just going to implement it for you.
Correct. And even only advising may not be adequate.
So that's if I'm going to say, if I charge you 15,000 and I'll give you a 20-page booklet and tell you, you know what, go and get it done. There's no way in hell you'll even go across 5-6 pages of that. So India is a totally different market.
Yeah. Okay. And Murugesh asks, how about investing through Scriptbox? I don't know about Scriptbox. So is it?
So Scriptbox is, a lot of people use it. It's again good, but there is, and they do advise, but there's no personal advice, I would think so. So again, I said, humans are very emotional. So that doesn't take care of that.
Okay.
There's Scriptbox. Then if you're going to Zerodha, there's something called a small case, which helps you in case of small cap, those kind of things. So if you don't need an advisor, then yes, these are very good platforms.
Okay. Yeah, but what I can say is, something that you alluded to a little while ago. In my case, so I started off with an advisor. Then for a while, I kept studying and I had developed my skills, my knowledge, and so I was very confident. Then I got rid of the advisor. I continued to do it on my own, and soon I realized I didn't have time for it. And after those 3-4 years, I saw, when I reflected back, I realized that the portfolio was not making as much money as it should have, and that's when I got the advisor again. That is you, and that has been of immense help. That now I don't need to worry. I can be passive. I can still do my education. I can still do my analysis, but I'll always be relying on you. Yeah. Question, Sanjay, how do people get in touch with you? If anyone here wants to seek your services, how do they do that?
They can contact me. You can, I'll give you my number. So you can post it on a group, or I can put it in the chat right now.
Can you? Yeah. I mean, I'll put it in our Telegram group as well. In the meantime, for people who are here and who are interested in connecting with you, can you put in your phone number and email ID? Yeah. I think you posted it only to hosts and panelists. Select everyone when you do that. Yeah, I've done it for you. So also your email ID. That's your website. Your email ID as well.
Email ID I put after my name, sanjayrao@gmail.com.
Okay. So folks, so these are Sanjay's contact details. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, they can do that. I think Mukul has a question. I have a
Charging.
I have a financial advisor who's charging but is investing in direct plan mutual funds only. Is this charging allowed? Because as Sonia said, the financial advisor cannot charge.
So he may be a RIA, basically a registered investment advisor, where he can charge you, but he's helping you invest in direct plans where the commission is. So there are two kind of plans: regular plans and direct plans. Direct plans is where nobody is getting a commission, right? And regular plan is where the broker who's there is getting the commission.
Okay.
So what I think is what Mukul, so you are in good hands because you are going ahead with a direct plan where he's not making any money. He's not double dipping. In fact, a lot of advisors do that also because they cut down the commissions by so much. They'll charge a certain percentage of your investments as well as get you into regular plans also.
Okay.
That way.
Okay. Don't see any other questions. I think we've got all of them covered.
I'm going to, if it ends, I'll just give a few gyan about, before making your foundation strong, you need to, even before investing, some golden rules are see, no one is impressed with your possession as much as you are. If you think buying a BMW and riding the BMW is going to give you that, keep in mind that people are looking at the BMW, they are not looking at you. They are just thinking how good they will look in that. Nobody is admiring you for that, right?
Okay.
So, and getting wealthy is easy, but staying wealthy is the most difficult part. So in America, they've done a research saying that whoever has won the lottery, not more than 6% have remained rich. Right? Because that requires discipline.
Yes.
Like how to keep that money, how to keep it growing. So, and money's greatest intrinsic value is the ability for you to control your time. So never forget that. So you think that by spending 10, 12 hours earning money all throughout your life, that gives you happiness, good. But make sure that when you're young, when you're able to enjoy that, you take enough time to do that also. So avoid those two extremes. One is spending all your money, and second is spending all your time earning money. If you keep doing that till 60, you don't have enough time to enjoy your money also. So that maintaining that balance is very important. So this is more on the Gyan side where it's just not about
money is a means to happiness. Money itself cannot be absolute for happiness. Yeah.
So there is a very good line that I had to write down because I won't. So basically what it means is that it leads you towards a life that lets you do what you want, when you want, with who you want, where you want, and for as long as you want.
Perfect.
Right. So that is where money should lead you to.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, that is just a wonderful note to end this on. And I know we were planning to finish this much earlier, but we spilled over because of the interaction, the interesting questions that came about. Sanjay, it has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for throwing light on this extremely important topic. All of you in the chat box, I would like you to express your gratitude to Sanjay. And yes, Ganesh, Psychology of
Yes, Ganesh, that's a perfect book. That's a perfect starting book. In fact, a lot of quotes that I use are from that book.
Wonderful, wonderful. I've got it on my Blinkist, so I've been listening to it while I'm driving. Okay. So thank you very much, Sanjay. It has been awesome having you here. Yes, we interact continually, whether it is finance, running, coaching, so many things to talk about. But this is a different setup. And on behalf of everyone, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And also on behalf of you, I make a promise to the community that whenever we want you again, whenever we feel the need to have personal financial advice, we are going to rope you in.
Definitely. And again, it's a no strings attached conversation. So don't worry. There is no hard sell. I'm an independent financial advisor, so I don't need to report to a boss. I have no sales target. And it's been lovely being here. Thank you, Sudhi. And thank you, guys. I've been reading the chat. So it's been a pleasure being here and wishing you all a very happy financial journey. And thanks again, Sudhi, for giving this platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much.